And welcome back to live coverage of the MCC Pro Series. Once again, my name is Tashi. I'm joined by Unishek and Clutch from 343 Industries. We've had an awesome tournament so far. Before we get into the finals, let's see exactly how we got here this morning, starting with the group stage. Of course, 16 teams started at the very beginning of this tournament. After round robin play, only 2 from each group moved forward. So you can see the results from Group A, B, C, and D. And we have watched all these teams now continue to battle their way to where we are today. So in the bracket, we started with the quarterfinals, where we started our coverage off with Sentinels versus Phenoms. We moved all the way through. We just finished the semifinals where Pryde took down Inconceivable 3-1. Sentinels took down Turning Point, which was our most recent series, 3-0. And now it's time for the finals. So, guys, I want to hear your thoughts on the tournament so far.
Yeah, it's been a great ride. I didn't get to watch too much of the group play, but what we have seen in the champ bracket has been absolutely phenomenal.
Yeah, no real surprises. No real upsets this tournament. I think Pryde over Inconceivables was very conceivable to a lot of us that have been paying attention to scrims and just previous series that have been played amongst these two teams. But it's good to see everybody playing pretty well. You wanted to see more out of Turning Point, but I think that there's always opportunities in the future, knowing that this isn't the last MCCPro Series tournament that they'll be playing in and whatnot. So expect them to kind of rebound and expect Phenoms to rebound as well as Inconceivable. I think it's just refreshing to continue to remind ourselves that Halo's in a state where there's about 5 or 6 teams that can win a tournament. And I know that this tournament's still going on and we don't know who's going to win it. But I really do think that that's something we kind of missed towards the end of Halo 5. It was always spice talks, back and forth they went. But knowing that those two were probably going to play in the finals of every tournament was kind of upsetting as a fan of the esports scene as an entirety. So it's always refreshing to see a team like Pryde make it to the finals and compete for this win. So really looking forward to seeing what they can do in this finals against a Sentinels roster that is all too familiar with success.
Yeah, I think also it's great to see so many teams come from the open and make their way into the champ bracket and make it further than I think a lot of teams would have predicted. So once again, the MCC Pro Series is open to any competitors around the world to sign up. First tournament, we had 117 teams sign up and register, and it's all free. So get your team of 4, head over to aka.ms/PS registration, sign up on Facet's platform there. And, you could be playing and broadcasting on some of these matches. So the next tournament is a week from today on Saturday. And the top 8 from there will go to play in the next MCC Pro Series Pro Tournament. And you could, be one of those teams to make it through the group stage and end up on the stream. So get your team together and go have some fun playing Halo 2 Anniversary on PC. So lots of exciting teams making it through, and hopefully we see even more to come.
Don't forget about the cash.
We saw 4 teams from the open make it into our champ bracket. That was really cool.
Yeah, don't forget about the cash that they're competing for. You have an opportunity to win money as well.
That's right. Yeah, the open tournaments have a $500 prize pool themselves. So
and 2 of the teams that came from the open tournament made money today, competing against the professional teams. So I think that there's always you might not be able to beat Sentinels, but or one of these top 4 teams or top 5 teams that we have, but who's to say that you can't beat some of these other top teams that and give yourself an opportunity to make some cash on your Saturdays. So
yeah, and everyone's got to start somewhere, John, I think we have our final giveaway. Is that right?
Yeah, so we're going to end up doing our final MCC bundle giveaway. This is for Steam, so if you've got your computer, open it and on. You want to open up Steam, get ready to redeem this code. It's the entire MCC bundle. It's going to be all the Halos. You can see it right there. It's a first come, first serve. So make sure you grab it. We are not going to be doing one after this series. So just make sure you grab it. It's the last one today. We'll have more for you in 2 weeks. Good luck to everyone, and congratulations to whoever snagged it.
Absolutely. Thank you, John, for giving the people what they want. Before our finals and our analysts kind of break it down, we want to hear your predictions. So be sure to hit us on social. Be sure to follow at HCS, at Halo, both on Twitter and Instagram. And let us know who you think is going to win these finals. We've got Sentinels versus Pryde. Both teams are playing incredibly well, not only doing all the dirty work, but also slaying with the power weapon. So it's been exciting to watch. I think this hopefully could go to a game 5, as I've been praying the entire time. But guys, what do you make of these two teams here?
I will let you go first, John.
Sure. I think Sentinels just continuing to roll strong, right? It's going to be hard to stop, but Pryde was also doing that on their end, right? Once they got their footing, they did not let go, right? They sunk their teeth in, got that grip, didn't let go. Sentinels just was so consistent against that number 2 seeded team, seeded actually higher than them, took them out 3-0. It's going to be an interesting grand finals, as you see right here. Sentinels has APG, Lethal, Royal 2, Snakebite. That is 3/4 of that Tox roster that won multiple world championships. And then Wes, if you want to talk about the Pryde squad.
Yeah, I think that this Pryde squad has a lot of talent. They put in a lot of hard work to get into this finals and find themselves here because of it. And we saw a 3-1 performance, but a very dominant 3-1 performance in the semifinals. And I expect this team to be playing very similar to how we saw them play before. Question marks against going a roster like Sentinels, to me, for this roster is difficult because you see players like Rain, King Nick, and you want to see them have a little bit more consistency in their ceilings as players in order to compete against the Sentinels roster, because competing against the Sentinels roster, similar to like Turning Point, is a little bit different than competing against other top teams, because there's room for individual skill gap, right? Something that Sentinels has and that Turning Point has is that there's none of those players are missing. None of those players are not hitting their shots. So the level of individual skill amongst everybody on those two rosters specifically, to me, is extremely high. And these players like Rain and Ryan Noob and whatnot, like they have that ceiling where they play at that level. But do they consistently play at that level and that ceiling all the time is something that we're kind of needing to have that question answered. Mm-hmm. And I think that if they're able to play at that ceiling, they can beat the Sentinels roster. And I think that they were playing at that ceiling in that last series. So they need to continue that gameplay. And if they're able to, then this could be a very interesting and fun series to cast.
Absolutely. And again, their finals are going to be a best of 5. So let's take a look at the maps and modes that they're going to be playing on, because I'm really curious to see, which might favor one team or another. So looking at the series here, we've got game 1's going to be CTF on Shrine. Game 2 will be Warlord Team Slayer. Game 3 is going to be Lockdown Ball. Game 4, if necessary, will be Assault, that's Bomb on Shrine. And if we get there, once again, I will pray for it, Team Slayer on Lockdown. Wes, I'm curious to know, like, for each of these teams, any of them stick out as maybe one of their favorites that they absolutely love to play on?
I think Lockdown Ball is an extremely strong game type for Pryde, and I think that we'll see an opportunity there to see where they're at mentally after games 1 and 2, because it could be a tied up 1-1 series where they can use that as like a game type to get ahead and go into game 4 up 2-1. But if they're down 0-2 going into game 3, even though it's a strong game type, like where are they at mentally? Where are they at like thinking that they have a chance to actually like continue this series? A lot of that story gets told in games 1 and game 2, but I think that if they're mentally in a good spot going into game 3, that they can find themselves up in this series going into Game 4 or closing the series out and the potential 3-0 if they have immense success in Games 1 and 2.
Yeah, I think one thing I'm looking forward to is Warlord. I think both of these teams looked super crafty on the map. Rhinu picking up 20 kills, of course. Snakebite doing work with the Sentinel Beam shotgun camo combo, which is kind of insane. So I'm really curious to see how both of these teams play on that map in particular. And of course, it could be a super pivotal map for either of these teams. One team will go up 2-0, the other will tie at 1-1. So it's going to be a really important game that we're coming up on here. So I'm really pumped to see. How about you, John? Which map and game type are you most looking forward to?
I was actually going to call out Warlord
my
well, just because we've been watching so many awesome plays from Ryanoob and Snakebite. So I was just curious if what it would boil down to. Is it Ryanoob making the plays, or is it Snakebite making the plays, right? And how does that affect each team's overall strategy and the end of that match, who comes out on top?
Personally, I think Game 1 is very important for this Pryde team. Not only confidence-wise to continue the series strong, but I think Warlord is almost going to be it's going to be a very difficult task for Pryde to win against a team like Sentinels because of that individual skill being so consistent and those shots being so consistent from players like APG and Royal 2. And I mean, Snakebite and Lethal don't get enough love, I guess, when I talk about their individual skills. But it's just almost overwhelming, and it's evident on a map like Warlord. So fortunate for them, there's only one Warlord in this series. But I really think that Game 2 could get ugly if it doesn't start off hot and Ryanoob isn't able to feel comfortable early on in that game.
And finally, guys, want to hear your predictions as we're heading into the series. Who you got taking it, John?
I'm probably going to go in favor of Sentinels. As strong as Pryde was playing, I feel like Sentinels, just with that consistency at the highest level, will probably emerge victorious once again. Pryde still has a little bit left, I guess, to prove to me, for me to favor them the next time we see this matchup. But yep, going with Sentinels.
Yeah, I think I'd have to go with Sentinels as well. Pryde is well deserving to be here and is an extremely good team with the capabilities of winning just about any tournament they play in. But I don't think today's the day. I think this is playing very well. I think from what we saw from Snakebite's point of view, rarely ever does he lose when he's playing that well. And it's just one of those days where Snakebite and company are going to probably take over. So I don't expect it to be a super long series either. I'd probably say 3-0, 3-1 Sentinels.
Well, there's only one way to tell, and here we are into Game 1 with Ryanoob. Guys, take it away.
Yeah, we see looks like Ryanoob pushing into the other team's hut with rockets and sniper right off the bat. I don't think you could ask for a better start. Trying to lay down some damage, not going to jump up. A wise choice to look down and try and get that same angle rather than pushing up top in a predictable jumping pattern. And the flag, I believe, is still being moved across. Ryanoob just lining up a beautiful jumping no-scope, takes down APG, and there's a cap 45 seconds in. We talked about how they needed to start hot. They are starting hot.
Yeah, absolutely. I retract anything I've said since this game started, which was my predictions, because this is what I wanted to see. I wanted to see them come out super hot and get the snipe out of Royal 2's hands and make some individual plays of their own. And it looks like Saiyan off screen has done a really good job of that, as well as Ryanoob with the first set of rockets, able to take out Royal 2, the most important player on the map when you're playing against Sentinels.
And because of that, they still have control, and Rain is going to be looking to get a second pull already. And this pace is something that's going to be very difficult for Sentinels to deal with because it's starting to become overwhelming, right? And King Nick picking up a double as Ryanoob pulls his second flag is going to result in a major opportunity to get this flag cap. Saiyan picks up a kill off screen, and the last guy alive, Royal 2, is able to kill the flag guy, but he's not going to be able to stop this flag by himself, and Saiyan does go down as well. And this could be a stop, but damage has been done. 1-0 flag cap. for Pryde right now, and they're showing that they belong in this finals, and they may be the favorites going into the rest of this finals.
Yeah, luckily, Sentinels can take a little bit of a breath. That flag did reset, so they're not down 2-0 or worrying about going down 2-0 just yet. As they're able to push into the base, we see APG here, lethal, snake fight, Royal 2 on ring 3. I think we might see a counter cap here. This is a very fast-paced match of CTF on Shrine. I was not quite expecting to see flags being pulled at this quick of a rate, as now APG, oh my goodness, pretty much BXR's King Nick for the triple kill. No one is able to get the touch there, though. Royal 2 gets stopped by Ryan Noob. Ryan Noob showing a little body disrespect, saying, nope, it's not your turn. It's not your time to capture a flag yet. This is our match. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, and something that just stuck out in my head is just like Ryan Noob and company and their willingness to take risks at all times and be rewarded for it. And Sentinels, a team that is known for taking a lot less risks. And Royal 2 sitting ring 3 right there, instead of flying out for that flag touch, is actually just like kind of pissed me off, because like, dude, you gotta go for that flag, right? Like, APG just got a triple kill. There's one guy alive. Like, I don't care about power positions or anything. Like, someone's got to be there to get that touch on the flag and continue that flag run. And Royal 2 was the only one in position, and instead he chose to like kind of keep map control. And he'll probably be upset, like thinking that I'm trying to tell him how to play Halo because of how good he is. But that's a mistake in my opinion. Like, Sentinels should have a flag cap, but instead they opted to try and keep map control that they eventually lost anyways. And now the onslaught is going to continue, right? Like. That's something that I think that Ryan Noob and his teams have always done so well, is that like Ryan presses the objective and is always willing to give his life to try and put himself in a position for success, and in doing so he finds a lot of success at times. I mean, yes, you do mess up at times, but you kind of got to swallow those and take like the percentages.
We're going to see a second cap go in. Yep. Sorry to jump in over you, but King Nick just scored the second flag cap for Ryan Noob. Like you mentioned, Sentinels could have a cap right now. Had Royal 2 jumped off of ring 3 there to just keep that touch alive at the very least. I know that's a little bit of a risky play for Royal 2, but when plays aren't happening too often, right? We see bomb on this map often end 1-0. It's worth taking that risk. Ryan Noob's team took the risk. Now they're up 2-0, and Royal 2 now fighting out of his own hut, trying to get, I think this is King Nick, out of his base.
Yeah, the aggression that we're seeing from this Pryde roster right now is something that Sentinels is starting to struggle with. I mean, they're already down 2-0, and it's in the first 5 minutes of the game. Just the nonstop pressure that you play against when you play against this Pryde roster is probably pretty difficult to handle, and Sentinels showing that even the best of the best can struggle to deal with this kind of pressure when it's applied correctly. And I think that's props to Saiyan, King Nick, and Rain and the rest of the like Pryde roster for starting off so hot and making this Sentinels roster uncomfortable.
I feel like they're just playing so fast, the Pryde team. Like, they're just, I feel like nades are hitting Sentinels and shots are hitting Sentinels before they're even looking there. They're just like in position way faster than I expect. But as I say that, you know,
that was a great play from Snake Fight to recognize the waterfall is coming down. They won't have great vision on him. He hides behind the pillar just in case someone scans for red reticle. But unable to get there, he takes out Rain just shy, gets ultimately sniped by King Nick. I was going to say, Snake Fight was taking such a long and slow route into that team's base, playing it so patiently. I worried that it might have been almost a little too risky to let his team fight that 3-on-4 and then bring that Pryde bring that flag all the way back, but it ended up working out. Pryde didn't have anyone else to back up the flag runner, and still down 2-0. Yes, but Snakebite making a great stop right there just at the goal line.
Yeah, I mean, that would have been game over, and a 5-minute game one is not what any of us expected, right? Especially not in the favor of Pryde, I would say. But shame on us for thinking that Pryde's not capable of having that kind of a dominant performance. It does look like Sentinels is running a flag currently right now with a sign of life after that stop of the third cap, and it looks like this is going to be a great opportunity for them to put one of their own in. So Sentinels rebounding quickly, and so far so often, right? This should be cap number 2, in my opinion, going in, but it is just 2-1, and Sentinels is completely capable of coming back down 0-2, and they're going to show us what they have in them right now throughout the rest of this game, because time is not a factor right now, right? Like, you have plenty of time to come back in this game, especially now that you just got the first flag under your belt. So they're able to hopefully kind of slow it down if you're a Sentinels fan and turn this into a real game, because you blinked earlier on and you were down 0-2.
Yeah, they just getting that one. It's not like just a chink in Pryde's armor, but it's a massive chunk on their lead, right? Getting that one extra cap just to make it 2-1. But Pryde not missing a beat, trying to push in. Sayan's got a little bit of trouble on Carbine, so Ryan Noob's looking to go help. But King Nick and King Nick and their other player, I believe it's going to be Rain, trying to push in as hard as they possibly can on that flag, while Sentinels just stuck in their rocks.
Yeah, I think these next couple minutes are really going to tell how the pace of this is going, because King Nick and the rest of the team are still continuing the same amount of pressure they started this game with, right? Like, every time we go to their screen, it's like somebody is in their base or in their face pulling a flag and being a nuisance. And this is a must-stop cap, because
both teams have flags out right now.
Right, and this is more of a risk for Sentinels, because if their flag gets capped, the game is over. They do not.
Royal 2, go for the flag guy.
Right, Royal 2 has to fly out at him. He does actually end up getting the kill, but it's gonna get so far and buy so much more time for the respawns to come in, Saiyan flying in and getting the touch. And that's just a little bit of, like, lackluster focus from the Sentinels roster on that flag cap. Like, yeah, you want to get that second cap and tie the game up, but you can't risk the cost of that third cap going in. And
King Nick dropping 24 kills. The rest of his team dropping massive assists. Everyone else on his team had double-digit assists. On the other hand, Sentinels had no players with double-digit assists, and only Royal 2 with double-digit kills. So just an overall outslaying, out-objective work match from Pryde. Wow, impressive.
Yeah, and I think that bodes well for a very interesting series ahead of us. I think that, like, that's what you want to see if you want to see this series go the distance, or if you're a Pryde fan, because I think that, like I said, Warlord Slayer is going to be still a tough game type for them to win. And if they do win it and go up 2-0, I would be very interested to see how Game 3 is going to go, because having that lead and building that confidence against a team like Sentinels is so important, because so often do they just take your confidence and throw it down the drain as far as, like, individual skill or shots. But we saw no glance of losing confidence, right? King Nick 24-6. That's the performance you want to have, especially in a final. So props to King Nick for showing up in game 1.
Yeah, I know you called out at the start of the day, keeping an eye on King Nick on this Pryde roster. Ryan Noob and Rain decided to drop, I believe it was Trippy they replaced
Trippy with Saiyan.
Reliable, with Saiyan, right?
That's right. You're right.
Yeah.
Reliable.
They replaced Reliable with Saiyan, but they keep King Nick. And I see someone asking in the chat, who the heck is King Nick? And he's the guy who's showing up in the grand finals, dropping 24 kills against Sentinels. Learn his name. He's always been here grinding in the playlist, grinding with the best teams. He's showing up.
Yeah, a dominant performance from King Nick. And
That's exactly what you want to see out of these up and comers. And y'all, I always said like Ryan and Rain see something in King Nick, and they stuck with him for a reason. And he's granting them or he's giving them the response they want to see by giving them like another opportunity, right?
Well, 1-0 in favor of Pryde is how this series starts. We're going to be jumping into game 2 in just a second here, which is going to be Warlord Team Slayer. But if I'm Sentinels, clearly the break that Pryde had between the last semifinals match didn't really do anything. They continue to steamroll, and considering their performance on Warlord TS in the last series, and obviously Sentinels I think are a different caliber of team, I'd be pretty scared.
Yeah, they have good reason to be scared now. We've seen Pryde just go absolutely off on them in Shrine. It's going to be really interesting what we see in Warlord.
Yeah, when these two teams have scrimmed, they've typically gone back and forth on games won and lost based on who has host. So I think that's like something also important to point out, that I believe that was on Royal 2's host, and for them to kind of like win a dominant performance in game 1 on Royal 2's host has got to be a big confidence booster, knowing that you're getting that advantage coming into game 2, as well as the strong performance that you were able to have earlier on Warlord Slayer.
So I want to hear from you guys, because obviously Warlord Team Slayer is such a fast-paced game, and I think Pryde have shown that they're, at least in the first game, playing at a speed that's above what Sentinels are able to handle right now. If you're Snakebite, what are you telling the team? How are you recovering from this in this next game?
Wes, if you want to take this one, I don't have too much tournament experience, so would love to hear your thoughts there.
I mean, the bright side, if you're a Sentinels fan, is that these guys are veterans to the core, right? And they've been through just about every situation you could ever put them through as far as how a series has gone. And I think that if anybody's able to kind of recover from a game 1 like that, it's this Sentinels roster. And as we say that, they're going to start off losing the battle for top mid and going down 1-4, but it's a long game to 50, so expect them to kind of rebound.
He's got camo shot. He's in the right corner. You should get him with that.
Yeah, I'm curious if we're gonna see Ryanoob with camo Sentinel Beam or Snakebite with camo Sentinel Beam more this match. But Tashi did mention that it's the speed that Pryde has been playing with, at least in that Shrine match. If they keep up that speed on a fast-paced map like Warlord, I expect them to just continue this lead as we see them go up 11-5 and close out the game going up 2-0, which could be, it's devastating, right? It's very unfortunate if you go down 2-0 in that series.
Yeah, and this is a great start for Pryde, right? Starting right where you left off game 1, up 15-8 already in this game, and it looks like Sentinels is going to have multiple players go down, so expect a few kills to go in the favors of Pryde right now, and it looks a little chaotic for Sentinels, right? I think that every time we've been on their point of view, they've been kind of caught off guard, and they haven't been able to have what looks like control from their points of view so far. So this is just another great job by Pryde to kind of create that environment for Sentinels and make it difficult for them to find comfortability in this game too. But they are chipping into this lead, 21-15 now, but it's back up to 7 as I said that.
Yeah, as you were talking, we saw a good set of kills coming in for the Sentinels roster, but Pryde stumbled a little bit, found their footing, and are now trying to regain this map control. Only up 4, so only up 3 now. Now we're seeing Sentinel 2. It's getting a little bit crazy, getting heated. Sentinels does not want to go down 2-0 in this series.
Yeah, Ryan doing his best to stay alive here in the nades, but multiple members of Sentinels are going to know he's no shield and are going to be swarming him. And as I said, at 3 straight kills for Sentinels make it a 2-kill game. Snakebite tries to port. APG with the double kill off screen continues to make this a 3-kill game, and this game is pretty much going back and forth. Now that the lead has been dwindled and cut into, this is anybody's game here in the second half.
Well, it's been more than cut into. Sentinels taking a 5-kill lead they just kind of locked down, I think, the top and some sides and got a great crossfire going on. And Pryde was unable to get like any coordination going, right? At the start, they were team shotting. Everyone was looking at the same people. They were cleaning up those weak players. Now it seems like we see Ryan Noob shooting at full shields players all the time. We see his teammates getting team shotted by Sentinels. It's been a rough second half for sure for this Pryde roster.
Yeah, I think you always see this. Like, it's like if you give Sentinels an inch, they take a mile. And you gave them like a little bit of map control, and they were able to run away with a couple rounds of slays, right? They were able to take out like probably 2 sets of kills, which really flipped the scoreboard on Pryde's head. And that's what we're looking at right now. And it looks like Pryde has not really been able to get the same kind of control that they had in the first half of this game since. And desperately looking for that kind of control. And now really all Sentinels has to do is make sure that they're trading their kills and doing enough damage per life to where they're able to pick up those cleanup kills and those one-shots. Where this game is just all but over, 46-37.
Yep.
This is the response you wanted to see out of Sentinels in order to kind of continue this series and make it a good one.
I'm curious if Snakebite is picking up the Sentinel beam because he's on Sentinels and it's kind of in his contract or something like that. But 48-40, they're about to close out this match. After being down nearly 10 kills earlier on, they win by nearly 10 kills. Really well done. You see Snakebite kind of toss his hands up. He's like, that's how we should be playing.
John, you are the cheesiest person I know.
Well, we love it.
But I do enjoy it.
A little bit. Yeah, great response by Sentinels, right? And this series could now go the distance with the way these two teams are playing. Sentinels has woken up after a slow start to game one. We kind of saw a little bit of a hot start from Pryde, but not enough to kind of build enough of a lead to where Sentinels couldn't come back, and it was only a matter of time until APG really started to turn it on. And with the 16-6 performance, he's going to bring the Sentinels roster back into this series 1-1.
Yeah, going plus double digits is always a nice thing to have in a Slayer match right there. 16-6, 7 assists. All of Sentinels putting in a ton of damage. You see 12 and 12 assists for Royal 2 and Snakebite. That duo continuously just dealing tons of damage. I'm curious to see, I believe our game 3 is going to be a lockdown match. Is that correct, Wes?
Yeah, it's a lockdown ball, and this is the game type that I was super interested in seeing how it's played and who's kind of able to dictate the pace of this game, because I really do think that this could be a very strong game type for Pryde, but all it will take is
Gotcha. Yep. I'm really looking forward to like lockdown ball, lockout ball is definitely one of my favorite map mode combos out of all of Halo, right? It rewards those structured, established setups, but also rewards teams being aggressive and forcing their way across top middle to break those setups, right? It is cut and dry, just fundamental Halo, right? It's awesome.
Wes, looks like we have a guest joining you in the background there. You want to introduce us?
Hey, Poppy dog. That's little Popsicle. We'll see if she'll come up here. Come here, Poppy. And she's stubborn. I'll go grab her. Give me 1 second.
Oh.
And then you hear the dog in my apartment howl it too. Pretty crazy timing. But Wes introducing Poppy to the world on the HCS on our MCCPro series, rocking the Astro A40 TRs.
Nice. That's awesome. Wes, is she better than you at Halo? Probably.
She's learned a lot. Unfortunately, the thumbs for her paws haven't come in yet. So she's unable to really get a good grip on the controller how she would like.
That being said, I will 15-0 you any day of the week, Pop.
Wes won't even let his dog get one over him.
But she's the best duo partner you could ask for in life. And it's probably time for her dinner, so now that I've messed with her enough, she's probably getting a little extra food tonight just for making an appearance.
That's awesome. Well, guys, the series is now 1-1 as we head into Game 3, which I believe is going to be lockdown ball. So I want to hear your predictions for this one.
We actually covered it a little bit, but yeah, having Sentinels and Pryde, both super good teams on this map. We saw Pryde dominate on it earlier versus Inconceivable. Wes was saying that as long as we see some great pushes out of Sentinels, they could break that setup anytime and also go on a streak of their own.
I want a score line, though. I want you guys need to put your necks on the line. Let's hear the predictions.
All right, I got this. It's 157 to 143. It's gonna go in Sentinel's favor.
It's a really close game.
Yeah, it's gonna be super close.
I'm going. I'll add 10 points. So 170 to 150 score line.
170 and 150. Okay, that's pretty good. So we're going the distance.
Sorry, in favor of Sentinels on this one.
Okay. Yeah, that's a pretty important piece of information as we head into Game 3, which I believe is going to be lockdown ball. So I want to hear your predictions for this one.
We actually covered it a little bit, but yeah, having Sentinels and Pryde, both super good teams on this map. We saw Pryde dominate on it earlier versus Inconceivable. Wes was saying that as long as we see some great pushes out of Sentinels, they could break that setup anytime and also go on a streak of their own.
I want a score line, though. I want you guys need to put your necks on the line. Let's hear the predictions.
All right, I got this. It's 157 to 143. It's gonna go in Sentinel's favor.
It's a really close game.
Yeah, it's gonna be super close.
I'm going. I'll add 10 points. So 170 to 150 score line.
170 and 150. Okay, that's pretty good. So we're going the distance.
Sorry, in favor of Sentinels on this one.
Okay, yeah, that's a pretty important piece of information for this. Okay, so both of you guys are taking Sentinels going up 2-1, but there's only one way to find out. So here we go, going into Game 3 now.
Yeah, we've got one player pushing down towards the bottom of lift, going to try and get a safer angle to get a nice crossfire towards library and BR tower. It's going to be PG's point of view, and it looks like they did enough damage to bring that ball back over to snipe tower rather than forcing their way through the BR tower and trying to get a setup. And instead, just bring the ball back place they already know they had under control, get a few seconds. Ultimately, it falls, but hey, we got a few seconds and had a pretty strong opening.
Yeah, and they're still going to actually have control of this ball as they bring it into library here, and this is going to be an opportunity to make this game a blowout, right? Because once you get a nice VR setup on lockdown ball, you can really run away with a game. So how long will they be able to hold on to this setup, and what will Pryde be able to do to kind of break this setup is what I'm really paying attention to right now, because I'm expecting Pryde to really have gone over how they want to break setups, especially the BR tower setup. So expect them to have something in their playbook that allows them to break this setup fairly quickly. But if they don't, this game could get out of hand quickly.
Yeah, and right now we see Saiyan sneaking up. Great switching right there. Unfortunately, Snakebite picks up the sword, immediately turns around and slashes him to get the trade. But Saiyan somehow snuck in there, broke the setup, took him down, and now stopped the bleeding. That's a great spawn back library. Should be able to use it to get the ball or at least kill the sword player. Drops once again, and it's Snakebite once again. He's got to be sick of that spot with that player and that weapon right now.
Yeah, you got to learn your lesson the first time, Saiyan, because both him and Snakebite knew that sword was down there, and even though they probably communicated to their teams, they both had the intention of going back for it, and Snakebite was just a little bit quicker off the respawn to kind of get to it and in position to win that trade. But 52-6, Sentinels was able to build a little bit of a lead here in order to kind of get this game started off. But it does look like if they're able to pick up this kill top BR on the lethal, then they're going to have the opportunity to respond with a setup of their own.
Yeah, Lethal getting some great shots on Saiyan right there, but Saiyan getting some even better help from his teammate as he takes down APG and is now going to get hopefully a crossfire on that player from top middle. It does not look like he's going to have nearly enough help though. Rather than playing the ball, plays the sword. You can tell he's not super happy with how that all played out for him. He was just getting completely overwhelmed and decided just guarantee that sword is at least off the map. It would have been nice to see if he could have at least tried to get that oddball off, but it doesn't matter. The Sentinels team was able to grab the ball and bring it over to Snipe Tower and now continue earning some points.
Yeah, just when you think that this Pryde team is going to have an opportunity to get some time, Sentinels immediately breaks the setup and puts the Snipe setup of their own. Snakebite hits the back button and sees 3. We're currently dead for Pryde, and that means it's going to at least be another 20 seconds of ball time before they're able to kind of successfully get across the map and take the ball player out, right? 84-19, we continuously are seeing this lead continue to grow, and unless they're able to get Snakebite off top blue, it's going to be very difficult for them to push across top middle. They do get him down to 1 hit, but are they going to be able to finish this kill?
Oh, he's going to use this little side pocket here. We were actually, Tashi was talking with, I think, Bravo about this. The additions, as we talked about, remakes of maps. That side little shoot that drops you down the elbow is actually super valuable because it allows you to drop down to the side without having to risk getting grenaded at all. Great play out of Snakebite here to use the sword, take down that player. Now, how to just straight up crouching, hiding underneath the shortcut.
What time, Chris? What time?
Sometimes works out. Other times it's the worst thing you could possibly do. Right there, he plays perfectly into his hand. He's able to shut down Saiyan before they get a bottom blue-green setup going and stops any potential time that could have been accrued by that Pryde crew.
I mean, it's absolutely insane the consistency that Snakebite plays at, right? Like, how aware he is at all times, paired with the amount of individual skill, like, you've never seen it in Halo almost. Like, it's unbelievable to continuously watch him do this game after game, like whatever it may be, Halo 5, H2A, Halo 3, like, it's just so consistent and it brings so much stability to a team, and he is still on this reign of terror, and how frustrating it must be to have to play against a player like this. For his competition, it's got to be just overwhelming at times. For him to like understand the exact situation that he is in and stay alive top middle with sword, only to come back top snipe, ask his coach when the snipe's coming up, get that time, understand that he's got time to go get a kill at snipe, go back, pick up the snipe, and then do damage with that snipe, just shows how much control and how much stability that he has over his own gameplay and everything that's going on around him. And that's part of the success that is Tox, that is Sentinels, that is the history of the past 10 years of Halo that Snakebite has been a part of.
Yeah, as you mentioned, that Sentinels does cross another major milestone on the scoreboard, getting 150 points. They're leading by so much right now. We expected this to be a much closer game because of how well Pryde played this against Inconceivable. Is stuff just going wrong for them, Wes? I know we've been on board with Snakebite because he's been absolutely dominating, but is it more that Snakebite is dominating, or is it just stuff going wrong for this Pryde crew?
I mean, there's not a whole lot you can do when you have like this much control of power weapons and being used effectively, right? Like, your first mistake was letting Snakebite get the sword, because after that he kind of put himself in such positions where it was almost impossible for you to trade with him, and it's just like a poor execution of strategy on Pryde's hands. But it's
That
because
blue
of
and snipe, yeah.
how
Play your life here.
amazing
They're
the
gonna have to
strategy
charge
that's
across.
being
They're top mid,
implemented
top mid
against
already.
them, right? It's not because they're bad players. It's not because their strategy is bad. It's because it's not
Entrance
to
on
the
you.
level that is going to take and compete against the likes of what we're seeing from the Sentinels side. And I know we focus a lot on Snakebite, but it's his entire team allowing him to be in the positions that he's in as well. That's creating the level of success that we're seeing. It's 151 to 43, and there's 4 minutes and 20 seconds left. I mean, Pryde has got to figure it out and figure it out fast if they want to have any opportunity to come back in this game.
He's trying to get up there.
Oh my
no.
God.
One hit bridge, one hit bridge, one hit bridge.
So for those wondering, you can hit that with a spring jump. You could also shoot the grenades on BR1, do a little bit of damage to yourself, but launch yourself towards BR2. It looked like he might have been trying to hit the spring jump or just jumping to get that vision, right? That visibility if he needed to call out to his teammates. But now getting 2 kills, shutting down 2 players. I don't even know how he got the triple kill. Just an amazing, I guess, grenade prediction. The 4th player was behind him, so he tossed off the weapons. His awareness right now, as you mentioned, Wes, his ability to execute with all these different factors going on, picking up a triple kill while his team is now locking down the rest of the map is just phenomenal.
Yeah, I mean, everything that Sentinels is able to do right now is pretty incredible because we've seen how good this Pryde roster is compared to the rest of the competition, right? And we even saw a glimpse of how good they can be in Game 1. But I think Sentinels is like, once again, it's just showing like their resiliency and their ability to adapt to situations and overcome like a poor performance in a first game of a series, right? Because this is not the same Sentinels team, and they're not the same pace that we saw the Sentinels team playing at in Game 1 of this series, and it's instantly a switch that they've been able to flip. That's so impressive, and a 200 to 63 is not what either one of us predicted. Sentinels taking away Game 3.
Yeah, it looked like the only thing that could stop Snakebite from going on a tear was a battle rifle that was falling on the ground, blocking his snipe shots. Everything else was just whatever he wanted to happen happened. 26 and 6 assists, going plus 17, just taking over the map and allowing his team to get that win with such a handsome lead.
This feels like a different team we're seeing here. Like in the last 2 games, like Sentinels have really come alive here.
Yeah, I think they got a good feel for the pace that Pryde want to play at, right? And in doing so, they're able to kind of figure out how they want to strategize against whatever Pryde is throwing at them with that pace. But it definitely caught them off guard Game 1. And Pryde was able to kind of establish dominance in Game 1. But nothing we've seen from Game 2 and 3 have shown us that Sentinels has any opportunity to kind of slow down after figuring out how they want to play against this team here in this series.
Well, I guess a bit of good news for Pryde, though, is that Game 4 is going to go back to Shrine, this time playing Bomb. And maybe they can kind of rekindle some of that spark that they had in the first game where they absolutely kind of plowed through Sentinels. But yeah, I think this Sentinels team is just playing on a different level right now. So hopefully it's a super tight match. Of course, there's always a tug of war with Assault on Shrine. So I'm expecting to see more of the same as the players are loading up and getting ready to go into the game.
Yeah, I think that's refreshing too. I think that if you're Pryde, you want to see a Shrine objective as Game 4 because the way you played in Game 1 overwhelmed Sentinels a lot of the game, right? And I think that keeping that same pace and that same aggression is so important to success in Game 4. So it's going to be exciting to see something similar to what we saw in Game 1 and see if they're able to kind of keep that same aggression and same pace now that they've kind of found themselves behind in the series instead of tied up.
Well, here we are loaded into Game 4, kicking things off once again with Snakebite, who went plus 17 in Game 3. We'll see the results of this one.
Ring 3.
He gets the spring jump on the second try rather than the third, and there is no grenade waiting for him. So he got it. That's great. Now pushing into their hut, trying to hunt down and sniff out where this sniper player might be for the Pryde roster. But they know he's here. You see the grenades coming in, so he wisely backs down. He's just going to keep this shotgun and this VR here at the hut, because keeping that close range encounter is going to play great in his hands, especially with that shotgun. He's getting some great crossfire on Rain, takes him out, but Rain does take out APG, so it looks like it's 3-on-3, but Saiyan comes around the corner, tries to find him, and once again, the most heartbreaking feeling in the world, hearing the shots of your sniper being burned and just sent into the void as Snakebite shoots a few off and then I think plays it over the edge. Heartbreaking.
Yeah, and a phenomenal job once again by Snakebite. It's like clockwork at this point. When he's on, and he's making all the right decisions right now. Buying enough time to where he's able to locate where Saiyan is with that snipe and take him out and get that snipe off the map to give his team that power weapon advantage. Now we're going to see Royal 2 with rockets, Lethal with the snipe, and what is Lethal able to do? Lethal's able to start it off by no-scoping Ryan Noob and allowing APG to kind of advance with the bomb. And now, if I'm Sentinels, the only thing I'm kind of worried about is Lethal having the snipe and Royal 2 having the rockets. Like, we're going to have to push in to get this bomb arm. And Lethal's not going to be there to be the guy that pushes in. So I want to make sure that Sentinels is pushing in with APG with this bomb. And it does look like Royal 2 is going to be pushing into the flag and creating that opening for APG. So it's up to Royal 2 and APG to kind of get this bomb arm and apply this aggression that's also needed.
Yeah, it was a great flank out of Snakebite actually to push on that car too and get some shots on those spawners and the rocks. But Pryde finally getting some kills. They take out Royal 2. They're trying to scout out and find out if there's anyone else on their side of the map before they push out for ring control and play this bomb or let the bomb reset, because they don't want someone to sneak in and get a touch. You know, that would be the worst thing to have happen for you right now.
Yeah, but fortunately for our Pryde roster, they were able to play good enough defense and get the kills they needed to get onto the players they needed to get on in order to stop any objective from being played. And Ryan Noob, doing a little bit of juking right there, is able to almost backsmack a player jumping over his head.
Yeah, I think he actually just gave that person a nice boost up to the nerd ledge, and that player might have just used it to get up on top of ring 3. Who knows? But 3 players now down, 4 players down as Ryan Noob ultimately falls down. Snakebite pushing in. Lethal is arming the bomb. Royal 2, APG, everyone shooting at all the remaining players on Pryde. They get the bomb arm. They're up 1-0, and I think they might have enough control to try and force a second one here. But as I say that, Snakebite going down makes me question if we'll see back-to-back.
Yeah, I think that trade is going to stop any potential double arms, we'll call it, to go down. But the damage has been done. Sentinels up 1-0 right now, and creating a level of pace that is continued from games 2 and 3, right? This is not the same control and pace that we saw Pryde have in game 1, and because of it, I'm starting to lose a little bit of hope that this might go to a game 5, because you need to see some individuals start to step up on Pryde in order to make this a real game 4 and to take the series the distance.
Yeah, and as we see, we talked about just sometimes sacrificing positioning to just push up and play objective. Snakebite noticed the bomb was going to reset if he did not push out for it. So he just kind of Leroy Jenkins it across the center, gets the touch, forces his way onto this rock ramp, and pulls the rest of the Pryde roster back into their base. And now Lethal, APG are now pushing into the base like phenomenal plays, and hopefully they can capitalize on it. Bomb is now being planted by APG. I don't know if anyone's in position to stop him. They do get the plant, it looks like, and they're going to go up 2-0 here. 5 minutes left. Snakebite not giving Pryde any time to breathe. Just throws it out into their bomb to make them think about it and have to understand that there is so much pressure being applied to them right now.
Yeah, phenomenal play by PJ to not only just grab the bomb and throw it into their bonfire, and understand that they're going to have to focus on that now because they are down 2-0 and the risk of ending this game is a reality. But to go back for the rockets and kind of bait the bomb and pick up an easy kill right there with the rockets and continue that pressure
in that onslaught, and to make Pryde
Okay,
feel
he has rocks. He has
uncomfortable
one more
was
rocket.
so
He found it.
key.
It's our wall with one more rocket.
They were able to take Snakebite out, but not before 2 of the rockets got used and effectively got used and resulting in any push being subsided for another period of time before Pryde is able to kind of get any kind of control of ring.
He fell ring 1.
And Snakebite taking out Ryan, who was kind of hiding on the carbine, trying to probably catch someone else off guard, but ended up being caught off guard by Snakebite. It's always unfortunate when you're trying to think, oh, I'm making an IQ 200 play, and then all of a sudden someone else is behind you, putting shots in your back, and you wonder what happened. In this case, we now see Snakebite just holding forward, pushed through ring, straight at the hut. King Nick getting a fantastic trade there. Had quite a few shots in him already, but happens to turn around and get that melee off to take down Snakebite. Now Pryde finally on the offensive.
Yeah, and Saiyan picks up a big double kill right there. It's going to open up the rest of the map for Pryde to get some aggression and to get into the base of Sentinels that we haven't seen them do this entire game. So this is it. This is a great opportunity, but APG wins a huge one-on-one under Rain, and because of that, he's going to delay this bomb run for an extended period of time that allows his teammates to spawn and get an impact on the rest of this push. And from what looked like was a great opportunity, is immediately shut down by APG and the rest of Sentinels. And because of it, the game's still 2-0, and now you got to start thinking in the back of your head, if you're a Pryde fan, like the clock is going to start to become an important piece of this puzzle as this game starts to wind down.
Yeah, and if we could talk about that APG play with the plasma rifle, he matched another player who had the plasma pistol and somehow won with a couple shots in the melee. Very reminiscent of how Halo 5's Brute plasma rifle was so darn strong. APG now picking up a double kill and now arming the bomb. Should be able to close this out and take down Pryde 3-0 on Shrine Bomb. Wow.
Yeah, I don't know if we can talk about how sick of a play that last little bit from APG was, right? I mean, for him to get a touch on that bomb with 3 seconds before it returns back to the middle of the map after picking up a double, just is a testament to how well everyone on Sentinels is playing, right? Snakebite going 13, 14, and 12. And looking at the stats of everybody else, like everybody else stepped it up big in that game too. APG with a 19 and 8, Lethal with an 18 and 8 right behind him, but with more assists. Unbelievable efficiency and objective play as well. Rarely ever do you see 3 bombs get scored on Sank Bomb or on Shrine Bomb, and Sentinels doing it against the best of the best.
Yeah, Pryde only had 15 assists as a team. We saw, I believe it was Snakebite with 14 assists on his own, right? So you could just see the teamwork from Sentinels just outclassing Pryde on that final match.
Well, Game 4 is in the bag, and Sentinels are your first ever MCC Pro Series winners. So congratulations to the guys on Sentinels, and thank you again for streaming so that we can showcase your awesome gameplay. Guys, the series is over 3-1. I think both of your predictions were correct, but I'd say the series took some twists and turns that we maybe didn't see coming.
Yeah, the 3-1 opening from Pryde just kind of took us aback, right? We weren't expecting that at all. Like, it was a completely dominant performance. We saw King Nick shredding Sentinels, but then halfway through that Warlord match, Sentinels turned it on and just kept it on throughout the rest of the series. Very similar to what I guess Pryde did in their match that we casted earlier, right? They lost the first game, then halfway through Warlord TS in game 2, they turned it on and then ease up against Inconceivable. So reminiscent to that earlier series, but different team and executing in a lot more dominant fashion.
Yeah, I really didn't expect that series to go that way after watching game 1, but Sentinels does what they do best, and they rebound after a loss. Super strong, right? And I think that game 2 was exactly what the doctor ordered for that roster. And And in doing so, they were able to kind of get their feet on the ground and run away with this series in a way that I didn't know if it was possible after I saw how well Pryde was playing. And a shout out to Pryde for playing as well as they did throughout today and the rest of the tournament. And I know that they're going to be kicking themselves wanting to have won this first finals, but there's going to be other opportunities, and I hope that they continue to work just as hard as they have been in order to continue appearances in finals like this.
Yep. With the tournament wrapped up now, let's go take a look at the bracket to see all the matches and how they concluded, just as a recap. Of course, your finals there going the way of Sentinels 3-1, so congratulations once again. On their path, they took down Phenoms, of course, which was another 3-1 series. Took down Turning Point, who featured some of the Halo World champions that took them down in 2018. And then to close it off, they finished off Pryde 3-1. After taking that initial kind of punch to the gut there, they totally rebounded. So congratulations once again to Sentinels. And here's a look at the prizing breakdown as the teams are going to be, and we'll see what they're taking home. So first place, Sentinels taking home 2,000, Pryde in second with 1,000. And you can see the rest of the prizing there. Not bad for a few hours of some Halo on Saturday. So congratulations to all these teams for taking home some cash. And of course, we'll see them in 2 weeks' time for the next pro tournament here at the MCCPro series. And I'm super excited to see, who makes it through the Open and who continues to make it through the group stage going forward. Now, guys, I'm going to put you on the spot here. We want to pick a tournament MVP. So I'm going to start with you, Wes. Who do you have coming out as the MVP for today's tournament?
Yeah, I think it's so difficult to kind of point out because not everybody's point of view is displayed throughout this whole tournament. But if I have to give the MVP to anybody, it's got to go to Snakebite. Too often did we just see him dictate the outcomes of games, and for long periods of time throughout every series he played in, and especially that finals. And he had a phenomenal finals series. So I'm going to give it to him. But the entire Sentinels roster came to play today, and I think that's why they call themselves the winners.
John, how about you?
I would have to agree with Wes. It's definitely tough when we only have a few point of views to work from, but what we saw out of Snakebite was objective work, slaying work, right? The objective efficiency really tells a good story. We saw slaying come out of other members on Sentinels, but seeing Snakebite truly move that bomb forward all the time makes some awesome plays, and dictate both objective and Slayer would be what makes me want to crown him our MVP.
All right. Well, I don't think anyone could really argue with that too much. Before we sign off, we do want to show you the schedule again so you can mark your calendars for the upcoming events. These Open and Pro tournaments will alternate week by week. So we obviously just had our first Pro tournament, so the next one is going to be Open Tournament number 2. It's going to be taking place on June 6th. Signups are still open, so don't forget to go sign up. You're going to want to grab your whole team. Make sure you have Halo 2 Anniversary on PC. Head over to aka.ms/PS registration to sign up, check out the rules, and get ready to go. There's a playlist in matchmaking that has these tournament settings, so you'll be ready to go. It is ranked, so you can grind to 50, which is pretty awesome. And hope to see even more teams competing in week 2 than what we had in week 1. And again, it is global, so that's awesome. And finally, once again, don't forget to follow us on social. That's going to be at HCS and at Halo, as well as at Halo on Instagram. Let us know what you thought of the tournament. Curious to see which teams will make of the second Open into the next Pro tournament. Maybe it could be you. So you never know. Sign up, have some fun. Always good to end your weekend playing some games. Guys, thank you so much for joining me. Any final thoughts before we sign off?
Nope. Just wanted to say thanks for having me. It's always awesome to cast some Halo, especially watching the best of the best compete in H2A on PC. It was a pleasure.
Yeah, I hope everybody enjoyed the tournament and our ability to kind of broadcast what we can. I know it's a difficult time right now in the world with a lot of stuff going on. So hopefully we were able to kind of give you a little bit of a brief escape from from a lot of the struggles and the pains that are going around everywhere. So hope this was enjoyable and some entertainment for you, and I hope everyone stays safe and that we can make the world a better place.
Absolutely. Well said, Wes. Thank you for that. And thank you, everyone, of course, for watching at home. Remember, you can go sign up for the next tournament, aka.ms/PS registration. Hope to see you out there competing. Congratulations once again to Sentinels, bringing home the first W under the new Orgs banner, and we'll see you guys soon.